We're celebrating 25 years of media excellence. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios here in Kokomlemle. It's a digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. Affiliates across the country, including ATL FM in Cape Coast, Radio Max in Takrady, and A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. We're around the world at myjoyonline.com. In this edition, police and military teams quell uprising by persons suspected to be pushing for split of Volta region from Ghana after they blocked roads leading to the region, leaving scores of commuters stranded.
Now we have a security situation we are trying to deal with, critical security situation that we are dealing with.
Police officers who have been seized by these men, 3 of them we are told have been seized, 2 of them injured.
Yeah, there are operations underway to get them released.
Meanwhile, Volta Caucus in Parliament questions absence of intelligence on the situation as it demands answers from the National Security Minister.
What is our intelligence community doing in this country? That a group of people who call themselves Secession Group, Western Togoland Group.
We'll hear from them and bring you the very latest from our reporters on the ground. Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan petitions Chief Justice, alleging judge hearing his contempt case will be biased if he's allowed to proceed. We have details as all media houses except the Daily Graphic are allowed in the courtroom. And as the multimedia group celebrates 25 years, Joy News tells the story of the impact of the company on the country.
Our projection is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win the 2016 presidential election.
Every government has had issue with you at some point, so it must say something.
We'll bring you highlights of a documentary detailing how far we've come in sports.
We'll assess the form of Ghana's Duke Micah and Filipino John Rio Casimero as they head into Saturday's world title fight.
And later, it's a full circle for a former contestant on the National Science and Maths Quiz stage. 15 years later, she's back on the same stage as one of the quiz moderators.
So from my second year, I was recruited into the team, part of the National Science and Maths Quiz. It's one of my great days because I didn't expect to be called to it.
We'll hear from Dr. Anita Oponkweku, who is now a lecturer at the Chemistry Department of the University of Ghana. That and more here in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Details shortly. You heard the sounds of secessionist group Homeland Study Group chanting earlier today as they blocked various entry points into the Volta region. The group, which has been agitating for a split from Ghana for many years, blocked roads leading to Sogakope at Timpoku, among others, and kidnapped 3 police officers, as well as taking over an armory there. Police and military teams have in the last hour quelled the uprising by the members, and we understand some have been arrested. We'll bring you details of that, but first, listen to a member of the group who prefers to remain anonymous, who spoke to my colleague Kujo Yankson earlier.
The Volta region from the rest of Ghana. Security services are in attendance at some locations, but the blockages are yet to be removed in others. Fred.
Yeah, in the last few minutes, we've been able to reach someone who claims to be a part of the secessionist group and claims that they've arrested 3 of the Ghana police personnel. In fact, we were trying to call a police contact there, and he answered. And he claims they've arrested 3 police officers in this whole situation. So I'm sure we can speak to him on the line, could you?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Can you tell us your name?
Please, my name is unknown. My name is not needed.
All right. Tell us, do you have 3 police officers in your custody?
We by God's grace, we have 3 of them in our custody.
Right. Are they safe? Are they injured?
I may say 2 of them are injured. One is all right, but 2 of them have been injured.
What's the nature of the injuries?
Yeah, the injury is when they came. The moment they came, we are here to defend our land. So at the police station of Aveni. So we told them our land has been declared for independence. So we want them to move and release our land for us peacefully. Over there, they started firing us. So as I'm speaking, they injured 4 of our guys. So we managed to hunt 3 of them. And 2 of them were still struggling firing, and we also did what is expected to be done.
That's a man claiming to be part of the group, wanting to remain anonymous, speaking to Super Morning Show host Kojo Yankson earlier. Now, scores of commuters traveling from between Accra and the Volta region who were stranded during the blockade narrated the ordeal to Joy News. We'll hear from them shortly. Meanwhile, the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha, has assured the police officers will be rescued.
Situation we are trying to deal with, critical security situation that we are dealing with.
Is there likely to be an armed response to this situation that innocent people ought to be aware of so they can clear the area?
The response of the security agencies will not be made public, but we only appeal to the motorists to be patient with us and to take good care of themselves as far as their personal security is concerned.
What's the plan for the police officers who have been seized by these men? 3 of them, we are told, have been seized, 2 of them injured.
Yeah, there are operations underway to get them released.
How about the people who are in the Volta region? These individuals claim to be doing this in their name. You're the regional minister. What are you picking up? What seems to be the response of the people in the Volta region to this recent
I think the majority of the people in the Volta region, if I say majority, 95-98% of the people don't support what is going on. In fact, many of the people from this region are very much embarrassed by the activities of these people.
That's the Volta Regional Minister, Dr. Archibald Lecha. We can hear from some stranded commuters. Well, I will address that technical challenge, but let's go on the line live now on the ground and speak to my colleagues Maxwell Agbagba and Kofi Siao. I'll start with you, Maxwell. You're reporting that personnel of the counter-terrorism unit of the Ghana Police Service are on the ground. Tell us more about the situation as we speak.
Emefa and Apawu, the 2 communities where we are told some of the police officers were attacked. Well, there in those communities, they didn't spend much time there. Information came in that the Tong Divisional Commander and his driver are in a critical condition at the Bato Hospital. So what happened was that the team moved quickly to the Bato Hospital. I saw the divisional commander in an ambulance together with his driver, and we are told that they are being transported to the police hospital in Accra for treatment. Information we gathered from the police personnel on the ground here was that they were attacked together with some officers in Apawu, and then we're told that the police officers on duty this dawn were actually held hostage by some persons believed to be members of the separatist group. As it stands now, we're just leaving the Bato Hospital, heading back to the community Mepe and Apawu, where the police officers were attacked. But going through the community, you can see a lot of people, a lot of the residents are actually alarmed by what is happening. Many of them are standing by the shoulders of some of them on motorbikes when they see the counter-terrorism units, the personnel from the counter-terrorism unit. We see them waving and sometimes even saluting them. A gentleman I interacted with told me that openly they wouldn't declare their support for the separatist group, but there are some persons in the community, if you speak to them, they'll open up to you and tell you that they indeed endorse what is happening at the moment, Jennifer.
Well, but in all this, tell us about the arrests that have been effected.
Well, we are unable to confirm right now whether there has been any arrest, because our first port of call was at the Sobakope police station, where there was a meeting between the National SWAT commander and then the Sobakope Divisional Police Commander. There they had to strategize before they were deployed. So we got to the community, Mepe and Apawu, just about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago. So we are going back to the community, and we're definitely going to watch out and see if any arrest will be effected. As it stands now, we do not have any information as to whether anyone has been arrested.
Well, that's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. Kofi Siao is also on the ground in Japan, and he's reporting that about 20 persons have been arrested by the combined police military team deployed there. What more can you report, Kofi?
Well, Emefa, that is a confirmation at Japan as I speak with you. If you come here right now, there's a military truck, and the military officers are holding about 20 people. If I got it right, they are holding about 20 people in their truck, and they are under the scorching sun. So these are people I'm told are part of the people who caused the disturbances this morning. But we are unable to confirm whether they are part of the separatist group that, you know, carried out this exercise at Japan and Accra this morning. Well, so we know that the road was blocked all morning, most parts of dawn. Would you say that the situation is calm now? Has the road been, opened for commuters? Well, calm has returned to these two areas. We first drove through Japan, where the first incident happened, and the road has been cleared. As we speak now at Japan, where I am now, the road has also been cleared. But what is happening now is that the residents here are alarmed because they see military officers and police officers around, and they are at a loss as to what is really happening in these two places. That's my colleague Kofi Siao. Now, Joineys editor Fred Smith is also in the Akuse area where some arrests have also been made. Fred, tell us what the situation is and what more can you report from where you are?
Well, a few minutes ago, a young man who was riding a motorbike and had hoisted a flag that looked like that of the secessionist group was picked up by the military station here. There's very heavy security here. You go through many stops before you get into the dam site itself, with military fully armed and police, the front police unit also stationed here. It is one of these who arrested this man who was trying to cross to the exit point of the Akuse Dam. We understand that earlier today they came around here and set fire very close to the exit point of the dam, and that's how camp security has been heightened here. As I speak to you, the Minister for Energy himself, John Peter Amewu, is here. He's being briefed as to what has been going on here since morning. Well, that's Joineys editor Fred Smith also reporting from another part of the area, and we'll have our men on the ground and more as we go along the line. We'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. But meanwhile, the Voter Caucus in Parliament has questioned the absence of intelligence on the situation and is demanding answers from the National Security Minister. Emmanuel Bedra chairs that caucus.
The minister in charge of national security should be held responsible for this act. He's in charge of the security of the state. And if there is any succession in the country, he will be the first person to know and pick the people up. How is our intelligent community doing in this country? That a group of people who call themselves succession group, Western Togoland group, and they will go and block a road, mount barriers, and national security cannot arrest just one person. It shows clearly government is complicit. Government, has hand in this, and we want to put on record that the government of Ghana must not take us for granted, must not take this whole country for granted. We are into an election year. We have just about 2 months to election, and a group calling themselves, we don't even know where they are coming from because they are not from the voter region. We can say in authority that they are not from the voter region. Wherever they are coming from, the national security must pursue them, arrest them, and get them, to face the law.
Chairman of the Voter Caucus in Parliament, Emmanuel Bedra. That's it for these issues from the voter region. We head to the court now where the Asin Central MP, Kennedy Ejapong, has petitioned Chief Justice Kwesi Eningyebwa, alleging that the judge hearing his contempt case will be biased if he proceeds with it. He therefore wants the case to be halted. The legislator risks a possible jail term or fine should he be found guilty of contempt. High Court Judge Amos Wuni dragged the MP before him, demanding that he justifies why he should not be severely punished for comments made regarding a pending case the court deems to amount to contempt. Mr. Ejapon's lawyers have since taken the matter to the Chief Justice, as well as filing another application asking that Justice Wuni is restrained from hearing the matter. There's also a pending application at the Supreme Court challenging the judge's authority to deal with the case. Court correspondent Joseph Akablé joins us with more on this. So explain to us the basis of the bias claim by the MP.
And so according to lawyers for the MP, they make the point that the last time they appeared before the judge, it was last week Friday, they informed him that they have filed an application at the Supreme Court challenging his jurisdiction. And the judge did indicate that he intends to proceed with the matter, but give them some more time to file additional arguments. Now, the point is being made by the lawyers that by the judge taking that position, it means he has taken a position on matter that he has the power to proceed. And so they said, should he be allowed to proceed, he will exhibit bias and it will prejudice the matter since he already holds the view that he has the power to hear the matter. And so they informed the judge about this morning, Emefa.
So the matter was to be heard today. Tell us what transpired.
The update, Emefa, is that the judge disregarded the concerns that I raised and said he's proceeding with the matter as he's fortified that there's no order barring him from proceeding. And so they read the charges against the MP. He pleaded not guilty to the charge of contempt leveled against him. Afterwards, the court played the controversial video recording in the courtroom. They played it for quite a number of minutes. The words like foolish, stupid were used in that particular recording against a judge of the High Court. And after the recording had ended, the judges asked for the lawyers asked for adjournment, saying that they want to come back on Monday because they want to listen to the audio, the video recording, and respond to it appropriately.
And there was a directive to media houses on this particular case.
When we got here, we were informed that due to the restrictions, if we were able to secure a spot inside, you can go in. And so at the time I was going in, there were no spots inside, and so we stood outside for a while. Only one journalist was allowed inside, and after a while, some of us were allowed to go in subsequently.
That's court correspondent Joseph Akablé. Now, the regional crime officer for the Tema region, ACP Paul Kisi Frimpong, says bank robberies are topping the crime list in the region. According to him, the worrying situation is not being helped by the tight-lipped attitude of residents who are unwilling to volunteer information to the police in such incidents. So in April, 2 robbers were gunned down in a 100,000 Ghana cedi bank robbery at Tema Community 1. Just recently, robbers also made away with 300,000 Ghana cedis cash belonging to a businessman about to make a deposit. Despite the mounting crime rate, Regional Crime Director ACP Paul Kisi Frimpong tells Joy News the police is on top of the situation.
Currently, Tema, we're having a challenge with robberies, particularly the banks and the manufacturing, industries. And we've been meeting them and work out, modalities of how they can, support us, to deliver. They should stop what they are doing, because when we get them, the law will deal ruthlessly with them. The crime doesn't pay, and their conduct is bringing a lot of insecurity in the system. We advise them to stop, but if they don't stop and we get them, the law will take its own course.
So he's also encouraging residents to volunteer information to the police to ensure their safety.
We need the cooperation of the community. The police cannot work alone. We need to work together with the community. Identify, the crimes that are, prevalent in the community. Then together, look at ways that we can address those crimes, So if the community or the public are not cooperating with the police, it's going to be very, very difficult for the police, to make any headway. All these can yield results, with the cooperation of the public.
That's the ACP Paul Kisi Frimpong. He's in charge of the Tema Region Police Command. We'll get into the election headquarters at this point. And this afternoon, the Deputy Communications Officer of the New Patriotic Party, Richard Nyama, says the opposition National Democratic Congress is justified in questioning the processes leading to the exhibition of the voters' register. He's calling on the Electoral Commission to explain why political parties were not called upon to aid in the correction of some anomalies in the register before it was exhibited. The ECE has since been criticized by the NDC for working without consulting the parties. Now, they say it has resulted in the many mistakes in the newly compiled electoral role. We'll hear from the former President Mahama as he addressed the news conference yesterday. But speaking also to Daniel Dazi on the Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV, Richard Nyama agreed that the EC has questions to answer.
My police station name is Madam Tekiwa Street. We are about 400. We are about 400.
Well, apologies for that. These are residents of Aswasi. So in a separate development, the Member of Parliament for Aswasi constituency, Muntaka Mubarak, is alleging that 1,246 names of voters in his constituency have been deleted from the register, whilst another 3,901 names that were not registered during the voters' registration have been added. The Minority Chief Whip, in a statement issued today, said that these anomalies were detected by the NDC in the constituency. So some voters in the area have been speaking to us.
My police station name is Madam Tekiwa Street. We are about 400. We are about 400.
So some residents of Aswan say, though, the quality of that sound is pretty bad. But the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana have disclosed they are losing hope in political parties' manifestos. They say the manifestos of the NPP and NDC, which was launched a few weeks ago, did not address problems such as flooding and how they will deal with it. Seeking to join us on the sidelines of the Ghana Federation of Forest and Farm Producers National Dialogue Series, head of programs for the Peasant Farmers Association, Charles Nyaba, said political parties will make promises to farmers and will at the end abandoning them.
We are beginning to really lose confidence in political parties' manifestos, because usually when they come, they give very nice promises that they will do A, B, C, D. This issue of the flooding has been on the drawing board for several years, but nothing has happened. If you take NDC, NPP manifesto previously, you see that there were a lot of fantastic issues that they said they were going to do for the agriculture sector when they were in power. By the end of the day, you realize that farmers continue to remain the poorest. Now, just last days, we all saw the sit-down strike that the nurses did and the impact on lives. Imagine farmers are able to also sit down. They say we won't supply food to the market. What would have happened to us? But because farmers are so vulnerable, farmers are scattered, we are not able to do that. Politicians will usually take us for granted because they know that we cannot do the sit-down strike like the former sector workers do, which is impacting on lives.
That's Charles Nyamba. He's head of programs for the Peasant Farmers Association. And we head to the Central Region now. Since yesterday, he's been pushing for the Electoral Commission to give him his voter's ID card. Well, we are told now that that card has been given to him, but he's rejected it. Richard Kujonyako joins us on the line. Richard, what's the situation where you are? Because we know that the parliamentary candidate for Cape Coast North, he's been pushing for that card to be given to him. Now he's rejecting it. What exactly is the reason?
So his reason is that there is still an error on the face of the record, that even though the card has been given to him, there is still some marks, disqualification marks on his name, and so it is not complete. So they are compelling the EC to stick to what the court said by re-registering him. So if it is by deleting his name from the earlier registration he did, the EC should do so. So EC has informed them to put it into writing so they will be clear on what exactly they are expecting them to do. And so that is where we are now. From about 8 o'clock a.m., they started massing up here, and I can count up to about 150 of these party supporters here who are dancing to music, and they are ready to celebrate, only for the card to be given to their candidate, and then the candidate rejects it. So they are still in a meeting with the Electoral Commission regional officer.
That's Richard Kojonyako, our Central Regional Correspondent. This is the Midday News. You enjoy 99.7 FM, and police and military teams have managed to quell uprising by persons suspected to be pushing for split of Volta region from Ghana after they blocked roads leading to the region. A number of them, up to about 20 of them, have been arrested so far. When we return from the break, we have sports, and as the Multimedia Group celebrates 25 years of media excellence, Joy News tells the story of the impacts of the company on the country.
Our projection is that Nana Addo Akufo-Addo will win the 2016 presidential election.
Every government has had issue with you at some point, so it must say something.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Let's do sports now. And Duke Micah has the task of ensuring that Ghana ends the year 2020 with a boxing world title when he comes up against John Real Casimero on Saturday. The form of the Filipino champion, however, suggests Micah is in for a tough fight. Hansman Sando has more in the following report.
When Duke Micah mounts the ring on Saturday night, his task will be simple: right the wrongs of Ghana boxing in the last 2 years. He must overcome Filipino John Real Casimero by any means legal to win the WBO bantamweight title. 2 titles were won and lost between 2018 and 2019. Isaac Dogbe was unable to avenge his defeat to Emmanuel Navarrete, and when Teofimo Lopez's flash right hand landed fully on the face of Richard Comey, Ghana ended 2019 without a world champion despite the promise of the preceding 2 years. Micah goes into Saturday's fight on the back of 3 contests in the last 3 years. A knockout victory against Luis Roy Suarez Cruz, which came between underwhelming unanimous and split decision victories against Janiel Rivera and Thomas Snow. His opponent has been more active and far more dominant. John Real Casimero has fought 5 times between 2018 and 2019, and none went the full distance. Despite this, Micah maintains he's in top shape and will win on Saturday.
Hansman Sander with the latest from the world of sports. Now, from elections to policy and from education to health, the Multimedia Group's influence has been felt everywhere in Ghana. The company has over the years dedicated a lot of airtime to stories that bring change to the lives of ordinary people and the community. Today, it unveils an official cloth as part of the celebration of 25 years of impactful journalism. Joy News editor Fifi Kumsing has highlights of a documentary detailing this impact.
The Multimedia Group has over the years established itself as a fiercely independent voice, speaking truth to power, reporting and exposing corruption.
It's not about us, it is about the people.
Our audience and communities are our anchor and the reason we operate. A lot of airtime on the various platforms of the group are dedicated to human interest stories. Stories that bring change in the lives of ordinary people.
To be locked away, it is a difficult thing, but the worst thing of all is to be locked away and to be forgotten.
Prison reforms as a result of a series of documentaries by Joy News, Locked and Forgotten and Left to Rot.
The message I bring you today is that you are not forgotten, and I've seen with my own 2 eyes what I have heard many a time about the conditions in our prisons.
A new mother and baby unit for the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, following a Joy News documentary, Next to Die, which highlighted the death of babies at the hospital. A 500,000 Ghana cedi school block for a community built by telecoms giant MTN, after a Joy News agenda story on the community.
Time is 20 minutes after 9 on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra and on our affiliates across the country. Later this morning, I will take you to a little village known as Esuboy.
An entire village battling river blindness saved after a Joy News story.
It's in the Ashanti region. It's near a forest known as Apofu. And my brother, Ohim Interior, tells me, as I spoke to him last night, he told me a very sad story. A story of people living in a community where there's no potable drinking water. The village has also been overtaken by black flies. I'll take you to
many boreholes built by our partners across the country, following stories highlighted by the Joy News Safe Water Project.
This is when you take the brand Joy. It's been interpreted as Jesus first, others second, and yourself third. Yes. we don't do what we do for ourselves. We serve the community.
The multimedia group's influence has not been felt in these areas only. The company has established itself by far as the most trusted source of election information, diligently covering every election and accurately projecting the final outcome.
Let's start with the permutations for President John Dramani Mahama. There are 69 constituencies to go, with a registered voter population we know now of 3,827,081. We therefore project it is almost statistically impossible for President John Dramani Mahama to achieve 50% plus one. Our projection is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will win the 2016 presidential election.
Governments over the years have often criticized the group as one championing an agenda against them.
I would say the beauty around that is you don't hear it only from one divide or one side.
For many people, like Samira Bawumia, wife of the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and the Mani Africa President Franklin Kujo, who have both been part of our loyal audience, this is a good sign.
I think every government has had issue with you at some point, so it must say something. But it's not necessarily a negative thing. It may be because you're doing your job and it may make people uncomfortable. But it could also be that in certain instances some lines were crossed. But I think so far it's been healthy. You've provided a platform for people.
Government agencies have come after you because you said the obvious. And so rather than dice it up and say that, well, as an individual listening in and not being a participant on the conversation, what has been the impact? For me, it has been neutral in both ways.
25 years, certainly, of impactful journalism, bold and fearless at that. And that's it for the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. At 1, we have Business Ameli.
And renowned economists project massive increase in cocoa production and positive impact on city, following significant jump in cocoa producer price from next month.
We'll stay for details at 1. And there's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. After the break, we have Living Word with Pastor Mensel Chabil. 1 Corinthians 3:6 says, I planted, Apollos watered, but God was causing the growth. It's time to plant, part 1 after the break.
Look at you, the big